if a married man approaches you, it's not all of them that want to sleep with you, my sis. It's not that you're anything. It's not that you're a sugar baby. It's not that you're a side chick. To some extent, it just makes them feel like, wow, you know, I can still have conversation with a younger person. I'm not too old.
This is the Unspoken Podcast, and I am your host, Chris Lay. Every week, I will bring you a hot, juicy, life-changing topic. So join me every Friday at 8 p.m. Links in your DMs. Make sure to follow me on Anchor, Google Podcasts, and Radio Republic. That is where you have access to the podcast. But hey, if you cannot access it on the app, make sure to go through it on the website. That is if you cannot access it on the app. Well, I will be waiting for your responses in the comments. Yes, links in your DMs, and do follow. So right now, let's go right into the episode.
Hello, Vanessa. I do hope that you have had a great day. Yes, you know how motivational speakers are always motivated to just speak, oh no, happy day, you know, good day, you know, get in that air, I think, we're not here to do some motivation or talk. My day has been hectic. Well, most of my week actually has been very, very depressing. But I try my best to be positive. I try my best to be enthusiastic about the day, even if I'm going to have a breakdown. So there are many times when I'm at work, I actually almost have a breakdown and I'm just there like, oh my God, I think I'm failing. You know, I think I'm failing at what I'm doing. I think I'm not good enough. But yes, I'm tired. I'm from work right now. And I was like, you know what? Let me do an episode right now because I'm not going to wait for any time. Let me do an episode right now. So yes, is when I've come back from me right now. It's evening, but I do not know at what point you're going to be listening to this episode. So it's probably good morning, good evening, or good afternoon for you. Yes, so in the life of a 23 uncertified lawyer in Zambia, life can be very hectic. But hey, I'm going to talk about that some other time in another episode. As we have seen from this episode, right? As we've seen from the episode, it is, should we get money from a married man? I'm going to tell you a little story. Well, it has a lot of stories, but I'm going to tell you one particular story. So there's this guy, okay? I don't want to say his name, but he's a very cool guy, okay? And we met. How did we meet? Okay, I've forgotten how we met, but we met under normal circumstances. And by under normal circumstances, I mean it was more of on the road and like, oh, you know, can I give you a ride? The usual, it was sunny, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm that chick. Okay, I'm that chick that just doesn't say no to a lift. Number one, I know I always said no when I was young, but now I'm just like, who died? Who died? You know what I mean? So got on the ride, and it was good. And conversation, you know, great mind. We would chat, exchange numbers, and yeah, we would talk or chat. By then, I didn't have anyone in my life that I was seeing, so it wasn't something I had to explain to somebody and be like, oh no, I met a friend. So guess what? This friend that I met is a married guy, and I love the fact that even when we met, he was so open about it. He doesn't hide the fact that he's married. He is always with his ring, and he always points it out. And he's just like, you know, I work from Kitwe, but my home is this other side, and I just from time to time just like to spend time here. So he took me to a favorite place that he likes to spend time, and we had a meal. He bought me, and this is one thing that I really respected about this guy. So he would take me to any restaurant in Kitwe just for me to eat, and won't eat himself. Why? Because he's like, I'm going to go back home. My wife has cooked for me. I'm going to eat her food. That's one thing I respected about this guy. And imagine, he's my friend. What am I trying to drive across? Guys, it's okay to have married men for friends. please, let's change that narrative. I don't know much about the married women or what they have to say, or I'm pretty sure there's going to be the, oh no, you've never been married kind of talks and whatever. But I just want to point out that it's okay to have a married man as your friend. 3/4 of the men that I have as friends are married. Because to be honest with you, I don't have uncles in my family. I don't really have male figures. I haven't really grown up with male figures in my life, didn't grow up with a dad, and then boom, from nowhere, 2 dads. You know what I mean? So I haven't really had that. So even with my married friends, it's in them that I'm learning that, oh, there's this and there's that. You know what I mean? I think it's okay. It's okay. Not that I think. It's okay for a married man to have friends. It's only those deceptive and, perverted married men that are out there doing the wrong things. But there's actually married good guys. And it's not every one of us that you see around with bigger and older men that are sleeping around with them. And one thing about me is that, bro, I will never be ashamed. If I'm with a married guy, I won't be ashamed and looking all guilty like, oh my God, balambona. Why should I be going around being guilty, feeling guilty for whom and for what? It's okay. If a married man approaches you, it's not all of them that want to sleep with you, my sis. Sometimes they just really just want to have genuine conversation with you, or genuinely they just like you, okay? And also, there's a married guy, again, he's way older, like I think should be in his 50s or something like that. He could be my granddad, you understand what I mean? But what I love is how, I remember when I was in university, he would always take me out to his friends, and these are like big people. Like, I don't even want to mention the companies, you know what I mean? So this is a married guy. He's been married like for 3 years now, but he's an old guy. I think he married when he was 45, I think. Yeah, I think so. So I was still in school by then, and he would take me out with his older friends. So every time we're in a group, and his friends would be like 10, and we're just in this bar. Kabwe has this place called Sekulu. Yeah, so that's where we would go, and I'm just with like Balis, you understand? But one thing that I've come to learn from that kind of setup is that there is actually some good married men out there. There is a man that always leaves at 19 when they're chilling, There is a man that always leaves at 19. They'll be like, so azakamba tafunoenda, but guy ni 19 hours ya kwana simuchoka hapo. And the guy would genuinely say, guys, no matter how drunk he is, so long as it's 19 hours, this guy is dropping the cup, going to his car and going home. And he's there like, my wife is not someone to step on. I am leaving. So that was just what I loved about it. And I would be the only girl there, right? And they would be chilling just as the boys. And he would tell me, I'm coming to pick you up from your school. I just want to chill. I'll be with my friends. I'll be with the boys. And the thing is, these are old guys. These are old men. And every time I'm with them, they'll just be like, kasuri kesna kesa. You know what I mean? So I was like a granddaughter. And I don't know, I just used to feel so safe. There's just that feeling that you have. I just to feel safe. I used to feel protected, and as well as I used to feel like, I don't have to worry about anything. And if it's too late for me to go back in school, because Mulungushi is very far from town, if it's too late, my friend would literally get me a room and make sure I'm just safe, and be like, oh, if you want to go there with your boyfriend, I don't care, but just make sure that you go back to school, because I don't want to be held accountable by your parents or your boyfriend. And that's just genuinely, and he will go back home to his family after he's done chilling. Probably by 21, 22, he'll be like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta deep. But if you're still going to be here, if you're going to invite your friends over, here's some extra money. Guys, I'm being very serious. And it's not that you're anything. It's not that you're a sugar baby. It's not that you're a side chick. You're just genuinely a friend that he cherishes and cares about. And he's never shown any signs of trying to touch you. Of course, those are matters that I'm going to talk about later on, maybe in another episode. But because I'm going to touch on the subject of a sugar baby. I do hope you know that there is a difference between a sugar baby and a side chick. 2 different things. All right. So that's just the story about it, the story behind it. Like, that's normally just how it is. He's going to be like, I'm going. And all of us will just be in the circle. Married men, old men are just chilling and they just want a good time. And they'll be like, oh, you understand what I mean? Sometimes, one thing that I've come to learn is that sometimes these older men just want to chill with younger people because it makes them feel alive, or to some extent, it just makes them feel like, wow, I can still have conversation with a younger person. I'm not too old. That's one thing that I just figured out. Sometimes they don't want to feel like they are too old. Like, oh, nikalimo, you know what I mean? Not that I want to marry you, of course not, but just nikalimo, ndinem guy, Njiriko, you know what I mean? Nikalimo, I still got it. I still have it. Don't look at me another way. Let's just be friends. I remember some other guy who was another married friend of mine. The reason why we became really close is because at first I was really hostile to him. I was just like, really hostile. So one day I was just like, Maiche, why are you so rude? Why are you so rude, Maiche? It's not like doesn't mean we want to sleep with you. If those are the men that you've been dealing with, not all of us are like that. You're making all of us men look bad. And to be honest with you, I love the fact that he was genuine. And till date, we're still really good friends. He can call me if I'm, let's say, in Lusaka and be like, oh, you should let me know when you're in Lusaka. Or, I have married friends that take care of me like I was a sister. They'll be like, hey, like I'm a young sister, like, hey, Maiche, before you date, I want to see that boy so that I should know. You know what I mean? Like, there's just genuine married men, and I feel like they are good friends genuinely, and they respect their wives. And from a couple of married men that I have as friends, they respect and honor their wives, because when it's time to go home, they go home. And I equally respect his time. I'm not going to start texting him at 22. I'm not going to start texting me at 21. And he knows that we don't even talk to each other at particular times. You know what I mean? If we have to see each other at the gym, it's at the gym. We laugh, we talk. If we're gonna go running together, we go running together. We jog. If it's a marathon, we run them. But like, hey, we have boundaries for each other. So I feel like, yes, it's okay. Married men can have friends, young girlfriends. It's fine. And also, as a young person, you can have older friends who are married as well. It's fine. Like, for me, I've come to find a lot of maturity. I was a very childish girl, but now I've come to grow, and it's in these small little things that I've come to learn just from these married guys. There's a lot of wisdom, and there is so much that we can learn as young girls if we know and if we're asking the right questions. Sometimes it's not all about money. Sometimes dig in their minds. These old men are actually wise people. I'm telling you.